There were originally 9 of us scheduled for the spelunking expedition, but Murphy's Law dictated that 2 of the group had to pull out due to various issues. It was a disappointment having fewer members to share in the experience, but then again there were benefits. Less logistical problems, more space, and so on. I personally wasn't that affected by it. While most of us were close friends, I hadn't known those 2 too well. Our rendezvous was the cave entrance at the crack of dawn. I was the first one there, as usual. Those who knew me often remarked at my attention to punctuality. Slowly the rest of the group arrived, parking their cars and unloading the equipment that we had organized between us. As the expedition leader, I had the emergency provisions on me: the first aid kit, flare gun, GPS locator. It seemed quite odd that a flare gun would be taken into an underground location, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. We assembled at the cave entrance. There was Jason, Alex, Karen, Samantha, Vincent, Ashley, and of course myself. Alex and I were experienced spelunkers, while the rest had varying skill levels. Moderate, Karen, Vincent, and Samantha. Poor, Jason, and a first-timer, Ashley. Normally it was against my instincts to take a first-timer into an unexplored cave, and in such a large group. But he had promised to obey every command I gave him, and had agreed to carry the most cumbersome equipment on the safe parts of the trek. The cave loomed in front of us. It was typically dark and rather foreboding. Not for the first time I wondered why it was, according to every available record of local geological sites, unexplored. Perhaps it was the isolated location, or the fact that until recently there had been no way for vehicles to access it through the surrounding forest. "Are you sure it's all right?" Ashley nervously asked, shifting from foot to foot. His earlier bravado had deserted him. "Yes, you can't change your mind once we're in, so decide now," I said flatly, turning around without waiting for an answer. He'd make his own mind up without any further input from me. The rest of the group followed me. After a few moments of apparent indecision, Ashley hurried in after the rest of us. Soon the darkness swallowed us whole. Inside, the cave was quite larger than it appeared. It proceeded inwards for about 200 meters and then sloped down quite quickly. As per usual, I ordered the group members to buddy up, a system in which the group divided into pairs and threes and were responsible for keeping together. Ashley and I were partners, given that I was the most experienced and he was the least. It wasn't as fun spelunking when you had to care for somebody else, but it was a necessary evil. Besides, he was a quick learner. Soon the sunlight from the cave mouth faded. "Flares out, everybody," I ordered. One by one, the expedition members cracked their flares. As per local guidelines, each member carried 2 packs of 30 handheld flares. It may have been excessive, but the flares weren't very strong and only provided enough light for the immediate area around the user. I took a glow stick from my pack and wedged it into the rock beside me. Only I carried these, and they were quite a lot stronger than the flares, able to last up to 12 hours with diminishing light after 8. I would use them to mark our trail back up. Slowly we continued down. The handheld flares lasted for 15 minutes on average, and soon we reached an edge. I ordered the group to stop 5 feet from the precipice, where the ground leveled out. As you may have noticed, I'm a stickler for health and safety measures, but not without good reason. I didn't want a death on my hands. "Ashley, crack a flare and throw it down," I said, watching to see how he did it. Ashley withdrew a flare from his pack and lit it. Then, without moving, he tossed it forward, down the hole. I nodded in approval. He hadn't moved forward from the 5-meter guideline. I crept forward to the precipice and looked into the abyss. Then I saw it. Descending into the darkness, barely half a meter from the cliff's edge, was what appeared to be a staircase.